the whole reason to get Apple TV.
If you see one movie this summer, see Star Wars. But if you see two, my favorite movie
Austin
commercial
Powers.
ever.
That's from that was from wasn't that from Goldfinger? Was
I
that
think
from
it was
the third
Spy
one?
Who
Gold
Shagged.
member.
Goldmember.
Goldfinger is the James Bond.
Yeah,
movie.
it's the actual.
No, but there's it was Gold. Yes, that's
member.
right. Goldfinger was both of those. Both of those, I'm like, how did they get past that? Like with the censors and stuff. Sorry, are you calling it what? Sorry, the woman in this James Bond, legitimate James Bond movie, is called Octa what?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Octopussy.
Okay,
That's right.
Yeah, it's a legitimate name. It says on our driver's license. You can check it out. It's totally fine. It's fine. No, but I mean, he is British.
A lot of vagina.
The best was him trying to talk about his laugh.
Those Austin Power movies. Those are the movies that's like a series that like I forget for some reason that they exist.
Oh
then,
man, no.
And then when I remember, I'm like, oh, what a wonderful Saturday.
Anytime my buddy Aaron and I get together, we can do the whole Austin Powers movie beginning to end. I don't know if we still can, but for years, if one person said a line, it was like, oh, here we go.
I was like, if you're reenacting it, who's doing like the 5-minute piss at the beginning?
Well, we got Fat Bastard down.
Who's doing Wee Man upside down, like attached to him? Like
We just made Trey get on his knees.
That's right.
and go, ee.
Yeah.
It's hard to
This is his whole line in the whole movie.
I had a hard time when I was like, wait, is that Beyonce?
In the third one, it is.
Wait,
Funky
is that
Cleopatra,
Beyonce?
man. That's Funky Cleopatra.
No, it's
Foxy.
Foxy.
That's right, Foxy
I
Cleopatra.
thought you said something
That's right.
else. I was like, all right, Chad. Yeah. Funky.
Yeah.
Funky Cleopatra.
You're thinking of the Donkey Kong doggy.
That's right. Too much Donkey Kong.
Too much donkey going on this. Oh, man. Well, welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia's Land.
Welcome back, peeps.
Trey, do you want to hit it? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Figured out what that was from. It's from Welcome Back, Cotter.
Welcome back, God. That's what I was telling the guys earlier as we were setting up tonight that like when I was editing this, I was listening to the beginning of the track over and over and over again to like try to get levels right. And so I just kept listening to Trey go, "Welcome back, welcome back," and my wife yelled back from like our bedroom because I'm out in the living room. She goes, "The hell is that?"
Well, now you know. It's Welcome Back, Cotter.
And knowing
Stop it!
is half the battle.
Yeah, so it was upsetting.
It's not a star. It's like a rocket.
It's not the.
Yeah,
Just
the more
like
you know, star.
fart gas coming out the back.
It's like Toe Jam and Earl when their spaceships crashing. Just
Oh yeah, that's
Exactly.
right, man. And the beat from Toe Jam and Earl. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, so we never made a decision. So this next two episodes, these next 2 weeks, we are talking about two movies that are basically the same film. Honestly, but
One is fun and lighthearted.
one is good.
One is the devil incarnate.
Absolutely awful.
One is a train wreck.
It is. Yeah, it was hard to watch the second one, the not good one. And I will just let you know. So this week, these next two episodes, we're gonna review Dennis the Menace, which was 93, and it's delightful. It's Walter Matthau in his old age prime, grumpy old man and all that good stuff.
And you're gonna have to tune in next week to find out what we're gonna do.
It's okay.
What we're gonna do. That's right. You gotta build the anticipation.
Oh, I love it. That was a great idea. Yeah, now you got to go out there and figure out what is if they made Dennis the Menace awful, what would that be?
Which
what movie is that going to be?
bad news bears Walter
Matthau.
Walter Matthau.
So you can tie it's like
I'm telling you, Austin Powers just lives on
I was gonna say, you
forever.
heard of the 6 degrees of separation?
The Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
It's all Austin
Walter
Powers.
Matthau.
Are you doing
Walter
6 degrees?
Matthau.
No, I love that line. I think it's in the third one when he's like, "There's two things I can't stand in this." Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
And he
People.
goes, people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
The best part is Michael Myers is standing right next to him, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. Very confused.
What?
This is the part where you attack me one at a time. Judo chop. Judo chop. They're just falling down on the ground.
So that I think that'd be our weekend recommendation as you're driving on your Friday mornings or listening to this podcast. Go check out the Austin Powers series.
All three of them.
Yeah,
awesome movies.
Just get like a roulette wheel and spin it, and then if it's a multiple of 2, watch the second one. If it's a multiple of 3, watch the third one.
Can't go wrong.
If it's a prime number, watch the first one.
Yeah. Can't go wrong because even the second one, the way it opens up is not like you continue. You could start with 2 or 3. You're not missing out on anything because it just ends it. I love the way the second one starts because it's just like, oh, we had set up that he's happily ever after. He's going to be married and he has, all this future ahead of him. And then she turns out to be a fembot.
Yeah, that's how they explain it away. Yeah, just like one sentence in the beginning of the movie.
I can't believe it. Vanessa, my bride, turned out to be a fembot all along. Wait a minute. That means I'm single again. And it goes into this great montage. Yeah. Oh God. We can have okay, so before we get started, I wanted to bring up to you guys a couple of things. So, to everyone out there, which I think by the time let me look at calendars here real quick. 1 second. There is a store. Let's see. Yeah, there's plenty of time. So. When this episode releases, which will be on our Friday the 26th, there's a store here in Miami called Corker Comics. And if you're a comic book fan, love anything Marvel, DC, all that good stuff, they are closing one of their locations in the Gables. So that's on like Lejeune and what's, I think, Ponce Boulevard or Lejeune US 1. It's around there. And they are literally like, it's 80% off. So I went in there today. I was looking around. They still have tons of stuff, tons of comic books, tons of like, pop Funkos and like those really cool. Oh God, what are they called? Like they're it's leaving me. They're like action figures, but they're just like it's like a scene from like one of the movies of like Batman and Joker and all this stuff. Anyways, 80% off. Okay. Ridiculously, and I mean, I bought something. It was originally marked like for $75. I got it for 10. Like 99 or $12, I think. And then we got 2 Funko Pops. Yeah. So like $10, $15.
Or 12.
So, yeah.
15.
It was ridiculous.
All right, I paid $30.
Oh, you know what? It was $60.
They jacked up the price on me. They saw me coming. They were like, a sucker's bored every minute.
They're like, oh, this guy's got Nostalgia Land money. What's he doing?
That means they were $2.
They just rang that up. No, so it's a cool place, cool little store out on Lejeune. Corka Comics, Korka. But yeah, so the other thing too that I noticed, I was watching today and I was like, geez, it's 2024. And I was thinking about the next year and I was thinking about what's going to happen. Where are we going? What are we trying to do with the show? And I was talking a little bit with my wife about like what's some cool ways we can spruce up backgrounds and do stuff. And it's like, oh, well, we could go find like some old VHSs and stuff. And we could put them on the wall or put them in a display case. And then it got me thinking, it's 2024. There is now an entire generation, probably maybe multiple, 2, who have never had to rewind a damn thing.
We talked about this on one of the episodes.
In their entire lives.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this?
Yeah, because we mentioned how my dad used to have a rewinder by the door.
Yeah, that's right, by the front door over here.
Yeah, because before you go to Blockbuster, you threw them in the rewinder because it was a speed thing. It would take it down to like 2 minutes to rewind the whole tape.
Yeah, because you're busted.
I'm pretty sure if you ran it too many times back to back, it would take off.
Yeah,
it would just send one out. I'm sorry, you're rewinding Beverly Hills Cop 3 again, or Police Academy 7. That was it. Sorry, it's Police Academy 7.
That's right, Police Academy.
No, it just got me thinking. I was like, holy crap! I was like, my kid. If I handed her a VHS, I kind of want to do that. Like, I want to hand her a VHS tape. I want to hand her even a cassette tape and be like, what would you do with this? Like, where should this?
The one that blows my mind now is how many people in this current generation don't know what commercials are.
Oh yeah.
They stream all their music.
Yeah.
They stream all their content. Other than if they watch YouTube, they call them ads.
Yeah,
they're not commercials.
They're ads.
They watch sports,
right? That's what I'm saying. There's got to be a ton of people out there that don't watch sports.
That's fair.
But I mean, like all those kids. Like, that's where I learned about all the new toys and all the new products and video games and stuff coming out or something going on around town was you had to wait between episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Oh, shoot. all right, that's a cool new thing. I'm gonna go get it. And then like now it's kind of great for me as a dad, and it will be for you because like your kids like in terms of what they know exists out there is so limited. They're not gonna come and ask you every hour for like, can we go get this? Can we go get that? Can we go do this? Can we go find that? Because I did let my kids watch some live TV a few times, and there was some like toys that popped up, and I was like, all right, let's go to the store. I can't say no to you. I'm still learning how to put up boundaries.
I like how that was in air quotes.
Obviously, he's super awesome at that.
Talk about parents who were bad at saying no. Dennis's parents were
nice
saying
segue. I like that.
Excellent work into that. That was like walking through a stream, man. That was beautiful, like a meadow. So today we're talking about 1993's Dennis the Menace. The good movie of this series.
John Hughes is Dennis the Menace.
Well, he was his production company co-produced.
And he was a writer.
Yeah. Well, I saw like at the end. I actually watched through the credits. It has his logo at the end. It's like, oh, this is a John Hughes production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I have to say I love. So Dennis the Menace. It's based on classic television series from the 50s.
Well, the comic book series that came out in 1951.
And the funnies.
And the interesting thing is, in England, on the same day in 1951, Dennis the Menace came out. The English version, totally separate of each other, released on the same day in 1951. No. And the Dennis the Menace, that's the UK version, is still running, too, to this day.
You mean like the comic strip? Like their own
two comic strips, one US, one UK, came out on the same day in 1951.
Oh gosh,
somebody leaked that. That was a leak.
I don't know.
I totally want to see what
John Hughes was the writer on the movie because the original comic artist that invented Dennis the Menace wanted John Hughes to do it. Yeah, and he had just gone into his. He left like doing teen movies like your Breakfast Clubs and those kind of movies. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I think, was John Hughes.
Yeah.
And then he went into Home Alone was his first foray into children's movies. A lot of people were pissed off that John Hughes was no longer making, your Breakfast Club style movies, but he gave us Beethoven and like all these movies that like shaped our childhoods.
Yeah.
That are just fantastic.
Really
and it's like, John Hughes, just make movies, dude. Who cares what you do? Just make them.
Just put your name on it.
Just keep doing it.
But the original story behind the Dennis the Menace character was the writer's son, the creator's son.
Oh, no.
Was named Dennis, and he was like 4 years old, and he would never nap. He was a pain in the ass. And one day, supposedly the story goes, his wife went into the son's room, into Dennis's room, and he was wiping poo all over the walls, and she screamed out to her husband, "Your son is a menace." And that's the birth of Dennis the Menace.
Oh God, man, that makes me want to ask a couple of questions. If there was an event in your life that your dad suddenly started making a comic strip about you, what would that be? I'll tell you mine first. So one time, I kept asking for like 2 years. I asked for like a real skateboard, not like a junky little like kid skateboard.
Yeah.
Like I wanted a real skateboard. Finally got it one Christmas.
With trucks and wheels and everything.
Yeah, with actual truck, not plastic truck.
Just shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah. So
with a skateboard.
With a skateboard. Yeah.
Molly.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta go to the dentist.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. That's one of the things that happened. So
you nailed it, buddy.
You got it right there. I lost my tooth because of that. Lost part of that front tooth. And then I was obsessed with taking care of this thing, so I kept rotating the wheels on it, thinking like I was doing it a favor. And like my dad came in and like was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm rotating the wheels." And he's like, "Don't do that too many times." And then like the next time I did, I stripped the nut on it, so he had to buy a whole new truck on it. And so we go to the store, and the truck was like $40, and I just remember my dad going, $40. For a toy? No, that's like almost a new skateboard. And I was like, "But Dad, I love this board. This is my favorite board. Like, this is awesome." He's like, "You got it for me for Christmas."
It's your only board.
It's my only board.
It's my favorite board.
Yeah, it's my favorite. So,
what if that was his response? Yeah. Your favorite board because it's your only board.
Yeah. But he heard it, and sure enough, he turned it into a sermon.
Of course he did.
Yeah, that was a sermon, and he asked permission though. He asked like, "Hey, can I tell that story
anytime
on the pulpit?"
No,
I was like, "Absolutely."
Whatever happens at home, gets turned into a sermon, no problem. No, I think one thing that I don't know if you'd write a comic strip about it. My dad's not really that kind of guy, but he outlawed chewing gum in our house for many years because I fell asleep with chewing gum in my mouth and woke up with chewing gum in my eyebrows and in my hair. Like,
no way.
All over the place.
Did you have to shave your eyebrows?
I don't remember. I know that like if you put ice on it or peanut butter or something, I was too young to remember exactly. I've heard peanut butter, like if you rub it in, the
oil, like
it like pulls, like it becomes like slick. It takes away the stickiness of it. But I don't remember what they did. I was too young, but I just remember him being very angry.
They dumped you in a bucket of ice water.
I think he just dumped me.
Oh man, how about you, Trey? Anything on the top of mind? You don't have to. We can skip if you want.
I'm just thinking.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, words, sentences.
It's hard. It's difficult.
Tylenol for any headaches. Midol for any cramps.
Mine would probably be. I had this buddy named Critty Brown.
His name was actually Christopher Brown. Yeah, but Critty's what we called him.
Yeah,
Critty? All right.
Yeah, we called him Critty.
Any person who comes in this house and has a nickname, I already know is going to have some good stories around.
One time he came. Well, there was two things. One, the very first time I ever got in like big trouble with my dad, I asked. He called me on the phone and he's like, "Can you sleep over at my house?" And I was like, "I don't know, my mom's not home." And he's like, "Is your dad home?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Ask your dad." And I was like,
"Yeah, right."
I was like, "I don't want to." And he was like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because he's gonna say no." And he's like, "No, he's not." And I'm like, "Yeah, he is." I was like, "I live with my dad. I know what he's gonna say." So sure enough, he pressured me into it, and I went and I asked my dad, and he said no. So I called him back, and I'm like, he said no, and he's like, "Okay, just wait for your mom to get home, and then ask your mom."
Yep.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom came home. And I ran outside to ask her, and I was like, "Can I sleep at Critty's house?" They said you could just take me home from church in the morning. They'll take me to church, and she was like, "Yeah, I guess." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I already have my stuff packed."
Oh man!
And she just like took me, and I got in the car with my dad after work and after church. I got a lecture all the way up from church.
That's a nice drive too. That's like a 15.
It was a good 15,
20 minutes.
You're lucky it was just a lecture.
Yeah. And
no, back in the day when I used to sleep at my friend's house like every weekend, and every once in a while, Mom would get so frustrated with me, and she'd just be like, "Ask your father." And I'm like, "Why would you do that? Why would you make me do that?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, like, what do you have against me?"
Walking distance. You don't have to drive.
Yeah, I can literally walk to their house. I do it all the time. And she's like, "Ask your father." So I go and be like, "Hey, Dad, can I sleep over at my friend's house?" And he's like, "Why, is our house not good enough for you?" And I'm like, "No, because this happens. Like right here. This like third degree does not happen at my friend's house." "Well, why don't they want to sleep here?" I'm like, "Because you go to sleep at like 3:00 in the afternoon and we can't be loud. Over there, nobody cares, man. Just," I get it. That now looking back, it's like, oh yeah, why did their son want to sleep out every weekend, every opportunity he could?
Everything he could.
But it was nothing against like this house. It was just like we had more freedom to do stupid loud
they had
things.
Cool crap.
Yeah, they had all the video games. Yeah, it was like we were playing video games and crap. It's not like we were doing anything bad.
Yeah,
it's different house, different rules. It just feels different. It's
7.
also that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
and then the second,
you're a menace.
Well, and then the second one was
the poo on the walls.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
And then
no.
I did a lot of stuff, but that wasn't me. My same friend, we were over here, and my brother had like a box of baseball cards that he had never opened before, and he bullied me into opening that. And then he was making
Trey was easy to bully back in the day,
and he was making prank phone calls to like taxi services.
No,
from my house phone.
How funny is it that we did that in college? Those are like some of the funniest memories from college. Was us Google 411ing.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, Google 411 doesn't exist anymore.
No, yeah.
But you could go through Google.
It was basically like *67 at your number.
Yeah.
It was like having a VPN on your phone number.
We only did businesses.
Yeah. We did Dairy Queen one time. We called up and our buddy Tony was doing this like old man voice.
This sounds like Tony.
What? He would talk like this.
Yeah. And like really good sounding.
Yeah, and he told this lady that his grandson had done a science project and made a squirrel out of
pickles.
Made a hamster out of pickles, and he asked if he could come put it in the dipping hardening chocolate,
like the magic turtle shell.
Yeah, and the lady,
this lady literally says,
she's like, if you're crazy enough to bring me a hamster made out of pickles, I'm crazy enough to.
But
dip
the
it in
way
chocolate.
she said it, she like pauses for a second and then she goes, if you crazy enough to bring a hamster in here made out of pickles, I'm crazy enough to dip it in chocolate. And of course, it was 4 of us. It was me, Tony, Trey, and our buddy Dustin.
D-Dog.
And Tony and I look at each other and we're like, let's go to Publix.
Yeah.
We got to go get pickles and toothpicks. And we got to make a hamster out of pickles. And both of these guys are like, nah, man, we're not going to do that. I'm like, Tony, let's go. Let's go.
These two are like, oh. And then Tony turns to me and goes, print out a picture of a hamster.
Quick. For scale and reference.
Yeah, we got to get this right.
You can trace it.
Oh my God, dude.
It's for a science fair project.
science.
For science, exactly.
And then he called Steak and Shake one time and convinced the guy that he was locked in the women's
as an old
bathroom.
As an old man.
Oh God.
He said, I'm locked in the bathroom.
He's like, don't judge me.
Don't judge me. It's the women's bathroom. And the guy's like, oh my God, don't worry, sir. I'm on my way. And hangs up the phone.
And then
like later on in the night, Tony's phone's ringing. And he's like, what is this? And like doesn't answer. It's a random number.
Yeah.
The guy leaves a message. We don't even have locks in our bathrooms. I'm going to call the police. And Tony hangs up the phone. He goes, call the police. I have a 305 number. What's he going to do?
I am the police.
What's he going to do?
Now he is. Yeah, no. Well, like that, man, you can't do a lot of those pranks anymore because people get overly upset to the point that like, oh, you got lawsuits or people getting shot these days.
Yeah,
like,
people are super sensitive. I mean,
that is one of my fears though. Of like whenever I go to a Walmart or
getting shot?
No.
Oh.
Target or Walmart is suddenly being a part of somebody's like stupid TikTok prank. Always like
that god awful kid that just like goes in malls and like picks fighting.
Yeah, those are not. Those are not pranks. That's just stupidity. Like it's not even fun. Like what we're doing, we're calling and asking if we can bring in a hamster made out of pickles. Like that's come on. If you don't know, that's not funny.
Who's that hurting?
Exactly.
Nobody. Well, both of you are menaces.
But like you're walking up to me and like. Touching me or like making weird noises and it's like, dude, you're doing all this for like content. Like it's not even like this is 3 of us, like 4 of us sitting around in a room. Yeah, content. This is 4 of us sitting around in a room talking smack and making each other laugh. Nobody's getting hurt.
Nobody's getting hurt.
And most of the prank calls that we did were just sounding like an old man and asking ridiculous questions about like duck sauce and like, when Dustin was like, do you have the ponzu sauce? Like we called some Asian restaurant and do you have fried rice? And the lady was like, yes, we have fried rice. And he's like, you have the ponzu sauce? You have the ponzu sauce? He kept asking it over and over again. The lady was just like, yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, she's like, we call it something different, but yes.
Like, are you coming in or not?
Like, he's like, not in the ponzu sauce.
No.
I'm not coming in the ponzu sauce.
Too many information.
No. Oh no!
Oh God!
That turned on all of us.
Dennis is a menace only because like everything he does has like a negative consequence. Like this,
right? Yeah, but he's not like a malicious kid.
Well, he is at the very beginning of the movie when he sneaks into an old man's house, goes up to where he is sleeping, and slingshots a baby aspirin.
Yeah, dude, into his throat.
We gotta set. Okay, so the whole movie is really simple. It is just that Dennis the Menace lives next door to the old Mr. Wilson.
Mr. and Mrs. Wilson.
Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. And Mr. Wilson has a big flower show at the end.
Yeah, he's got a nice garden.
He's been growing a flower for 40 years.
40 years.
That blooms in a full moon and then immediately dies.
Yeah, blooms one time.
And then it's dead.
What the dumbest plant in the world.
Yeah. He put a lot of eggs in one basket there.
He didn't plant multiples of this plant.
Just one. Yeah. Just one of this. So it's in this picturesque, perfect town that I feel like
Pleasantville.
It's like Pleasant. Honestly, when I thought about it, I was like, this is like the picture town that like the Mormon church like is trying to convince everybody about. Like, oh look, if you just don't diversify, then you can have this little town.
Forget gentrification.
It's Pleasantville meets the town from Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Salem.
Great. Yeah, that is a great reference.
But like make believe Salem.
Yeah.
Not like real Salem.
Yeah. And so the whole villain premise of the movie is that there's a drifter thief
Christopher Lloyd.
Played by Christopher Lloyd.
Who was like the most terrifying looking dude ever.
Absolutely terrifying.
Looks
You're
like
right,
he does all the meth.
Yeah. He hoards all of it.
Yeah,
Hey,
every other drug.
Hey, man, how much meth you do? All of it?
Yeah.
Can I get some of that? No, I need all of it.
This is post Doc Brown is what it is.
This is when he went back in time and screwed everything up.
Oh yeah. Marty.
Well, he had done I can't Doctor Doom or no, it's not Doctor Doom. It's the in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was the bad guy.
Dr. Death.
I think it might be Doctor Death or something like that.
Yeah, he creates the dip.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing that
It's
can
like an acid.
kill it too.
And then he
It's like
became
an acid.
Yeah, he became like the go-to for like children's movie villains, and the costuming department just went insane on this guy in this movie.
They're like they had leftover budget.
His entrance,
leftover budget.
His entrance into this movie is the most ridiculous thing too.
He's on the train.
Yeah, he throws himself. I mean, I get that he's like a hobo riding the train and he's got to jump out of the train, but he throws himself down an embankment and just gets up and he's like, "Oh, look at this town. Oh yeah,
They don't even lock their doors.
I bet they don't even lock their doors."
My favorite.
As he smokes more bath.
Heisenberg shows up and throws him another
That's
bag.
right.
Yeah. His name is officially Switchblade Sam.
Yeah, Switchblade Sam.
On the script. But like speaking to your point though, so at the beginning of the movie, first sequence that he wakes up, he goes upstairs Dennis walks out of his house.
Yeah, it's got to be like 6 o'clock in the morning.
No,
Yes.
he comes riding his bike.
Oh yeah, riding his bike. Yeah.
Next door.
Walks next door.
No, but he's riding it down the street because Mr. Wilson hears him coming
He had
and
the
he
playing
runs
cards.
inside.
That's right.
had the-
Because
Yeah.
that kid's been up since 4 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning. You know he has.
terrorizing the neighborhood.
And his bike
He's
is
gotta
the
collect all those-
loudest freaking thing.
Yeah.
He's got
like,
he's got the
block.
playing cards in his back spokes, so it's
and he's still got the training wheels, like
And
the
steel
wagon.
cans.
He's
Yeah.
pulling a
Steel
wagon.
cans
Yeah.
on rope running. And so the first thing he does, he walks up to Mr. Wilson's house. The door's unlocked.
He just
And I was
goes
like,
in.
Mr. Wilson, 90% of your problems could have been
Lock your
solved.
door.
Just lock your door.
Yeah.
Like if that kid just has to knock and you're like, no, go away. Like go home.
or
No issues.
be an adult and tell that kid to get out of your house.
Dennis, it's
Yeah.
7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh my
Go
gosh.
home, Dennis.
Go
Oh.
home, Dennis.
Go home.
Actually, we had a neighbor. Sorry, side quest. If I could pull that up. Hold on, is this right?
The fact that you
Yeah.
can hit the right button every single time, because I'll be on stream and I'll go to hit something and I'm like, nope.
Would have been a lot funnier if I got the right one.
Oh god, yeah.
Stay with me, folks.
It's funny because like I'll die and I want to hit the one that's like womp womp womp, and I'll hit the one that's like and I'm like, nope, that's the wrong thing.
Just starts playing smooth jazz.
And I'm just sitting there. I feel like even more of a jackass.
Oh,
I
that
only
should
never
be,
failed the game, but I failed in my button pressing.
that should be part of one of our things we do every week. Is like you bring me your board, and
you
I
just
just
add
I just
something?
load up
Random.
something random, and you just have to hit it, and then whatever it is while you're streaming.
There's always the same two, but there's 4 buttons to
Yeah.
choose
Yeah,
from, and you're like,
exactly.
oh.
Which one is it?
It's
Which
like,
one is
oh.
it? Okay.
That's the sound. Oh.
Oh man. Anyway, so side quest. So we had back in the day. So when our good buddy Zach was living down here, they had a little neighbor kid who was kind of a menace. He would show up.
Oh, the Johnsons?
Yeah, you didn't have
Oops.
to mention them, but that's fine.
All right, now we got another record scratch coming.
Hang on there, Mike.
Aaron.
Somebody timestamp it. Timestamp it.
Timestamp that. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, there was neighbors
bad.
that we're not going to mention. The younger one.
They were the Jetsons.
Yeah, the Jets. Yeah.
The Flintstones.
Oh boy, Roy.
The younger one.
I love you, Roy.
The Flintstones.
anyway, sorry.
The younger one, like at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. would walk over to the front door and like knock and like ring the doorbell, and Russell, our buddy's dad, would come open the door and be like, "Yeah, bud, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, is Anna awake?" And he's like, "No, it's 6 a.m. on a Saturday. She's asleep." He's like, "Okay, can I use your bathroom?" and Russell was like, "Well, I mean, his house is like
Right there.
20 yards away.
You could throw a rock and hit
Just
it.
go." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, I guess." And the kid
Now he's inside.
runs in, uses the bathroom, and Russell goes off and he's making coffee. He's doing his normal morning, and then he hears the faucet run, and the kid washes his hands, and then the front door open, and he leaves. He's like, oh, okay, he's gone. And Russell goes and opens the door, and that kid dropped a log and didn't flush. Nice. And just let it. It's like Russell was like, Anna!
That's not cool.
So that little dude wasn't allowed at the house until noon.
Yeah, for real.
And if he had to go to the bathroom, he had to go home.
Yeah.
That was his whole thing.
You got to go number 1 or number 2.
You know?
Number 1? Yeah,
you're fine. You keep going. Anyways, okay, so Dennis, some of his of the things he did, what were some of your favorite moments with him? Because the plot.
That opening scene where Mr. Wilson's pretending to be sick, and he's checking him out.
Temperature.
His tongue is blue and spotty, and he's looking at him dead in the face, and his eyes keep opening and closing, and Dennis doesn't notice it. And then he says, I know what he needs, and he drops all the aspirin all over the floor.
Well, because he opens the Bayer aspirin thing like this.
No, well, he pops it, and he can't get him out.
Yeah. No,
so he just goes to turn it over and drops it.
Yeah.
And they just pour out all over the floor. Then he picks one up. He dusts it off on his overalls, which he wears no shirt under his overalls.
No shirt.
He's dusted it off. Then he licks it.
Dusts it off again.
And loads it into his slingshot and waits for Mr. Wilson to snore his mouth open and shoots that sucker in there.
Oh man, I love that there's some moments where I was like, "Man," and they mentioned that Mr. and Mrs. Wilson didn't have kids.
Yeah,
because I was like,
apparently they couldn't for some reason.
Whatever happened. But but I was like, there's some moments here where I was like, if I was as a parent now and I know a kid's in the room and it gets real quiet like that,
something's wrong.
You don't want to be with. You don't want to keep your eyes closed. You need to sit up and to be alert. You need to protect your genitals. And you need to protect your eyes at the same time, because there's either a kid mid-flight, who jumped from the edge of the bed and they're now about to land right on your stomach, and whole area, or they're about to throw something. It's instinct. It kicked in. But yeah, with Dennis, man, and all that, I just he's not a bad kid. It's just what happens. He's not ill. He's not trying to do something wrong.
He's just an idiot.
He's just a kid, and he's so cute.
But he's dangerously curious.
He's a village idiot.
Yeah, he is kind of a dummy. He does a bunch of dumb stuff. Toward the end of the movie, when they're in the garage and he's looking for the lanterns for the garden party, and he looks at the canoe in the ceiling and follows the rope to the tie off.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, what is going to happen if I pull this rope and untie it? Well, what do you think's going to happen? You're done. You're like, come on, kid.
Yeah. He found the garden lanterns.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well, there's several moments where you see him and he's trying his best not to do something bad. And he does this little thing where he starts kind of crossing his fingers in his hands, and he keeps looking at whatever he wants to do or whatever he wants. It's usually a button or something.
The curiosity gets the best of him.
He's just I gotta touch it, and I was like, I identified to that kid. I was like, okay, yeah, that was definitely a kid who was
not surprised.
I gotta touch the button. I need to figure out what that does.
Oh, it's a fire alarm.
Oh, it's a fire alarm. Oh, that's great. Why does the fire alarm in
That's like that guy that was in the congressional building.
What?
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you do.
Which one?
So they were having a serious meeting about the budget crisis, and one of the congressmen pulled the fire alarm. And then tried to be like, oh no, I thought it was something else. No, dude, it says fire and there's a pull tab. You're a grown man, not an idiot. Well, never mind.
Wait, you mean this lever isn't the pizza lever?
Yeah, exactly.
This doesn't bring the pizza.
This isn't like a double dare.
This is a muffin
You
button.
slime them when you pull this.
Double dare. Oh my god, yeah, man.
Where's Marky Mark?
Dude, you know that the rest of the world is just look at these idiots.
Yeah.
They're pulling fire alarms in the middle of their crap. What is going on over
you can
here?
get C-SPAN online, any country, anywhere.
Oh, God.
You can watch it. It's become the new best reality TV show that's ever been.
I think my favorite thing Dennis does in this movie is when he teaches Switchblade Sam how to tie up a person and basically ends up just torturing this criminal.
Just torturing. Oh God! Why does the name just Switchblade Sam?
So he takes Dennis hostage. So this guy Switchblade Sam is going around robbing the neighborhood, and he robs Mr. Wilson's house while Dennis is staying with him because his parents are on vacation or they're on a business trip.
Both of them, yeah,
both of them are on a
separately.
business trip at the same time. And basically, long story short, he ruins Mr. Wilson's like big moment because he comes out to yell that somebody robbed the house and they miss like the flower blooming, and Mr. Wilson's like, I never want to see you again. Oh. Don't come around here. And he runs away because he's upset.
Yeah.
And so he runs into the hobo. He's like running through the woods, and the guy like stops his bike, and he's like, "You're my hostage." And he's like, "I've never been a hostage. Like, what's a hostage do?"
He's super into it.
Yeah, and he's like, "You're here in case the cops show up. The cops are gonna come."
Yeah.
He's like super excited.
He's super excited.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
What's next?
And so Christopher Lloyd's like, "Shut your mouth." He's like, "I can't shut my mouth. My nose is stuffy."
Yeah. I won't be able to breathe.
I'll be able to breathe.
And so he shows him how to. He's like, if you tie me up, I'm just gonna escape. Everybody in the neighborhood tries to tie me up, and I just wiggle and wiggle until I get my way out of the ropes. So he teaches him
Time out right there. Everybody in the neighborhood's trying to tie this kid up.
Hey, well,
how many times has Mr. Wilson been investigated for tying up a child?
I don't know. Yeah,
Mr. Wilson's probably the only one that didn't tie him
That's
up.
true.
Probably just from all the when they have to go through the phone book to try and find a babysitter, and they're like, "Yep, that one tried."
And why does every babysitter in the whole movie have like? What's the weirdest, most eccentric phone that I could buy?
I was going to say, you got a great montage of like 90s phones.
Yeah, like strange, super weird, like duck quacking. That's the first one. My grandmother had one of those.
Oh, we need to see if that still exists somewhere.
I don't think it's there in North Carolina anymore.
Dang.
But then she also had like a phone that it looked like an old school like.
Oh really?
Hello?
But it was a normal. But it was.
Operator, get me
opened,
number 7.
And there was a phone on the wall inside. Yeah.
It was operator, get me number 7, please.
I bet when people came over, your grandma was like, "Gotcha, bitch."
And then she'd say,
And your little dog, too.
You know how your grandma talked.
Yeah,
we
you
all
talk to your
remember,
grandma.
Yeah, how you did that. Anyways, but you were saying he basically tortures.
Yeah, and so he
Lloyd.
teaches him, and he's like, you got to tie up each leg individually, and if you really want to mess with me, he's like, bend down.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd bends down, and he handcuffs him to the rope.
Yeah.
So this guy's stuck. And then he's like, get the handcuff key. It's in my bag. And Dennis goes to get it, and he trips and drops it in the baked beans, and he force feeds this guy.
why does the guy have to eat all the beans?
You can't just find the keys.
His rationale is, you can't waste food, and you
Yeah.
haven't had your dinner yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh man. Well, like Christopher Lloyd's whole thing in this movie. I mean, he's the nastiest, dirtiest looking,
Most evil hobo ever.
Yeah, actually, so I looked up and I wondered if you had saw it too. So there's one kid, I think his name is Gunther.
Yep.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh.
Kid.
Yep.
Because like the camera, I'm gonna
He's
get
got,
it
like,
real
cross
close.
eyes.
I'm gonna get it real close to the camera because they're like, whenever they mention his name, he turns and he's always.
Yeah. And his eyes are just ever so slightly looking in.
That's my favorite line.
Like he's looking right at the camera.
My favorite line in the entire movie is Dennis is playing hide and go seek with all the neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
And he's using Gunther as like his spy.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like, Gunther, are you ready? Are you watching where everybody's going? And the kid's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, look at the camera.
Like, yeah. I got him.
Doesn't he go? Yep.
So,
It's a gentle little.
yeah, yep. And so he like Dennis finishes counting at the kids. He's like, Dennis, and he's like pointing at the kids who are hiding. And Mr. Wilson's like, Dennis is cheating.
He's cheating, bro.
He's using the Gunther kid as a spy. And he's like, hey, Gunther, your dad is going to the ice cream store, and he wanted to take you with him. You better hurry on home. And the kid's like, and he runs home, and his wife turns to him and goes, you just lied to a child. And he's like, so? He was cheating. And he's like, that little boy's going to be very disappointed when he gets home and there's no ice cream. He goes, well, he better get used to disappointment because he's a foot short for his age and he's cross-eyed. Like, yo, Mr. Wilson's a savage.
Yeah. He just lays it on the line, tells you how it is.
Oh, we need more Mr. Wilsons in our life. I feel
Yes,
like
I think
better get used to
I think this
disappointment.
generation needs a lot more Mr. Wilson.
At the beginning of the movie, I was really I get why Mr. Wilson's upset, man.
Yeah.
This kid
I'd be
sucks.
upset
Yeah,
too.
that kid does suck.
Well, that whole sequence.
And when he talks to his dad right after he shoots the baby aspirin down, he keeps saying like, you have to control your son. You have to teach him what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
You can't let him come over to my house that early in the morning. You
Yeah.
can't do this. I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
Like
I'm the victim.
Yeah, he's like, no, for real. Like, I'm way too nice to this kid as it is.
Yeah.
You have to stop letting him torture me like this. And he's just like, we'll talk to him again. Like, how about you take his bike away from him?
No,
and
he
don't
said,
let him.
when my dad had something he wanted me to listen to, he used his belt.
Yeah, that's right.
And they don't. This was the gentle parenting.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had two thoughts about this. A, that's Walter Matthau. He was born in 1920. There is an entire generation there where it doesn't matter whose kid you were.
Everybody's going to beat your ass.
Everyone's like, go pick a switch from the yard. Like, I don't care.
And if you get the small one, I swear I'm going to make you pick another one.
Rule of thumb. Should have been a rule of wrist.
Yeah. And the second thought of that was with like, what would this movie be like if they remade it, but it was like Dennis the Menace, but with like, we're in Miami, Florida, with a Latino family.
Oh, the amount of chanclas flying around? Are you saying?
Yeah. Dennis who? ¿Qué? No, come here.
Yeah. You're about to get your ass beat.
You're about to get a pow. That's what you're gonna do. What did you do? You shot Mr. Wilson? Get over here. Get over here. No. I just want to talk. Just come here. Just come here.
But Christopher Lloyd's character, they start this fire, and Dennis basically sets him on fire, trying to tuck him in.
He falls into the.
He drags his like blanket over the fire.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
right.
catches on fire, and he puts it while he's knocked him out.
Yeah,
And
several times.
so he wakes up and he goes to dive into this like little pond that's there, but there's like a door in the water, like an old door that somebody threw out.
Stream.
It's and he keeps hitting it, but he can't swim, so he can't. So Dennis goes.
Well, not only that, but when he does dive into the actual stream itself, it's like this deep.
Yeah.
So he just
you don't need to
hits
swim,
the
just
ground.
stand up.
He just hits the ground like super hard.
But he's like, I can't swim, and Dennis is like, oh, okay, and like he grabs the rope and like ties this like knot that he can put his feet in, and like puts it over a power line, and like he's like, now just pull yourself in, and the guy's
Puts it
like,
over-
oh my god, and he's like trying to kill Dennis, and he gets caught on a train.
Yeah, it's the passing train.
Which
Yes,
definitely would have killed him. By the way.
that would have ripped him in half.
Dude it's basically how Xena dies in GoldenEye. Like he gets pinned to the bottom of this like concrete slab.
Yeah, the underpass or whatever.
Until the train snaps the rope. And I'm like, nah, that guy's dead.
Yeah. It would have snapped his body before that rope snapped.
That would have been
At least you got broken ribs.
Yeah. And maybe a couple L1, L2 lumbars. Just gone.
You're here. That's your spine. It's just gone.
It's important.
Spinal.
Well, like the way they did. So the one scene with Gunther is. I heard about it was Christopher Lloyd. He's in full makeup, and Gunther's like in his backyard. And this, I mean, the way Lloyd plays it is so intimidating.
Yeah, he's so creepy.
And so Gunther, the little cross-eyed boy, is sitting in his backyard. And he's eating an apple.
Just like that.
And he's like just looking around and he's like, what? And like Christopher Lloyd, like shadow appears behind him and he's like,
watch eating this pot.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And like doesn't Gunther, he's like, apple.
Apple. And he stabs the apple with the switchblade.
Stabs it. And
the interesting part about that is you can see that it's a fake hand. Oh. It's like shaking violently. Yeah, definitely, because it's like a rubber hand in case the knife like went in. But like it's like wobbling. Like, but so he took the apple and then he starts eating it or whatever, and then for the rest of filming, Gunther, the little kid that played Gunther, wouldn't go near Christopher Lloyd on set because he was so terrified by him.
I mean, poor little dude was probably like, what, 4 years old or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, his name was Hank Johnson. And yeah, I wouldn't either. Like with the way they dressed up Christopher Lloyd, this movie was like the poster for like, hey kids, if you see stranger danger, yes. If you see someone who looks like this walking through your perfect Pleasantville town,
trying to buy meth, don't go near him.
Don't go near him. Yeah. Now, if you want to party, that's the guy.
It's gonna be a really shitty party.
It's gonna be terrible.
Candy.
Yeah. Oh god. Well, the other part of this movie that I was like, hey, John Hughes, you not only like it, and if you need to know what a John Hughes movie like starts with, it usually starts with bum bum dum, 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 like some kind of movie, some kind of music on that background. But so this babysitter comes over to watch Dennis.
Yeah.
Opens the door. Lo and behold, who is it?
Buzz.
It's Buzz.
constantly combing his quaff back.
Yeah, no, but my favorite thing about Buzz is that he's helping with Dennis in the bath. And he's reading this book.
It's a Thomas the Tank Engine, but he can't read.
He can't read.
He can't say the word sobbing.
He's like subdid. Why? And he's like, why are we teaching kids lies? And he tries to have this moment.
He's like philosophical.
He's like, how can a train grow? And then it's like, well, if he eats all of his coal and he's next to the other train.
And I love he's struggling on the word enough, and he does it so well. Like I was like, man, this kid, like Buzz, you're great. You're just fantastic, because he made me laugh so hard when he's trying to read the word enough, and he goes, enug. And he killed me.
Awesome.
Oh, it killed me reading that. But that was Buzz from Home Alone, which he had just done.
There's also from Home Alone the heads of like the gardening committee, the ones that are like, what does that say? And they have to like keep changing their glasses.
Yeah.
It's the two old people who she's trying to bribe to get back
buy
to
the
Chicago.
ticket off of with like everything she's got.
$500.
These two vouchers, a $500, this gold watch.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, she got plenty of them at home.
Yeah.
Big
come on,
dangly
Martha.
one.
Big dangly. Yeah, come on, Martha. But also Natasha Lyonne, who's in like Orange Is the New Black, and she's also a Russian Doll. But she was in a couple of movies. She was in American Pie, Detroit Rock. That was a great one. But there was another one that was Slums of Beverly Hills, which is what I first knew her from way back in the day. So it was pretty cool just to see some of these, some of them, like some of their first, second iterations, because Buzz is Buzz.
Yeah,
and I think that guy got kind of typecasted into being like Buzz.
Yeah, when you hit a role so iconic in a movie like that.
Yeah,
everybody knows you as that character, and you really got to do a lot of work, put a lot of work in to break out of that. You could just be Corey Feldman and get weird.
Just get real weird.
Well, you had
real quick.
You had Mrs. McFly, who is also Mrs.
Yeah, it was the first Back to the Future reunion for Christopher Lloyd and Leah Thompson, because she's Marty's mother in the past.
McFly,
yeah,
McFly,
which is always so weird since we won't go into Back to the Future now. We'll talk about that another time.
We'll get to Let's
not go down that road. Yeah, that's a whole box we don't need to open up.
We'll go back to that.
Right. Love Back to the Future. Anyway.
Yeah. What were you saying about Leah Thompson?
No, that's where I was going into Back to the Future, and I had to stop that.
We're going to go out of Back to the Future.
Yeah, had to cut that off.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the weird dynamics of it was just with Leah Thompson and her husband, who looks like he's 12.
Yeah, he does look very young.
He looks super young, and I'm just like, where is there any discipline for just like normal understanding of like with this guy? Hey, buddy, if it's 7 a.m., like I know all the doors are unlocked in this town. Don't go into Mr. Wilson's house, dude. Just go down the street, go play with your friends.
The only locked door is going to be your room. Yeah, because you're not going to be able to come out of it.
That's what he said. He's like, just sit in the corner. And Dennis goes, for how long? And he goes, till you sorry. He goes, I'm sorry now.
Yeah.
Were there any wet noodles in this movie for you guys? Like, I mean, everyone felt so good.
That little girl with the doll. I didn't like
She's
her.
not really a wet noodle, though.
I just didn't like her.
She was actually, those kids were impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she wasn't really in a wet noodle. Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, no. She just was, I mean, she was so bratty and just like, well, I know this.
That's how Margaret was.
Yeah, that's Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the cartoon, and I remember the cartoon mostly.
To go to Margaret's house. No.
Yeah, he's so upset.
My life is falling apart.
In the scene where he shoots the paint and wood out of the shop bag
perfectly into the grill.
Yeah, like lands on the grill like it's a burger there. And he covers. Oh gosh, dude, eating paint and wood.
I'll make some sandwiches.
Walter Matthau just looks like a caricature of a person, like something like Pixar drew, and like then
it's the guy he's the guy from Up.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
I'll tell you who kills it in this movie is Joan Plowright, who plays Mrs. Wilson.
Oh yeah,
dude,
George.
I would just want to be like, I'd want her to be my grandma.
Like, yeah.
You know what, Mrs. Wilson? You're the nicest old gal on the block.
Yeah.
On the block.
Yeah. Dude, because she just takes care of him, and she gets that like he's just an innocent kid who keeps messing up and keeps screwing up. Yeah. But that when she delivers that poem, the
winking, blinking, and nod when he's
dude, I'm like, I could just play that and go to sleep.
It's not funny, just the way you said the winking, blinking,
winking, blinking, nod,
winking, blinking, and nod,
winking, blinking, nod.
I don't know why.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm gonna make you listen to me. You listen to say wink and blink and nod. Oh man! Well, I actually three of my cats when I was a kid were winking, blinking, and nod. Anyways,
how many cats did you have?
Too many cats. That's many. Too many cats.
I will say that was a rough era in our time as kids. We had too
Three
many
of
cats.
our cats. That's too many cats.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another. No, that's not. That's the next movie.
No,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Yeah, nope, we'll get there.
Oops.
We'll get there.
Dropping hints.
Dropping
to that
hints.
movie.
Little Easter eggs.
It's
Okay.
the,
Easter eggs?
Dennis has a dog.
Man,
Yeah.
yes, Dennis does have a dog, and I will say so for this movie that I think that's going to contrast the next one we do. Dennis the Menace has so much better, well thought out, like heartful moments, like the way that like you were saying with Mrs. Wilson saying that poem to him, reciting it, and it was like, oh, this is a really beautiful moment with him and like the neighbors and this community, and then at the end, when Mr. Wilson realizes like how terrible and like what he said to Dennis, telling him, "I want you out of my life, like get out of my way."
And now the kid is gone.
And now
nobody can find him.
Yeah, now that he ran away. Well, he ran just to his clubhouse in the area. But anyway, but that moment where like Walter Matthau, like who could only play it as Walter Matthau does, and it's so just like heartening, like just the way he sits there and you can see he's welling up a bit, like he's tearing up about the way that he's treated Dennis, and that Dennis is always just like, but I love you, like, but I love you. I'm sorry, I do all this stuff.
That scene when his parents go out of town and he says to him, if I can't be around my parents, you're the only other person that I would want to be around.
Yeah,
and he's like, well, that's very kind of you, Dennis. It's like totally takes him off guard. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, dude, right in the feels. In the feels.
And then he goes and he puts mouthwash in his nose spray.
Oh, jeez.
And
puts
toilet cleaner,
Pine Sol in his mouthwash.
And spills soapy water all over the floor.
Because he grabs his nose thing while he's brushing his teeth and goes, "Cool, Old Faithful."
And starts
spraying the nose spray everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he realizes, like, oh, crap.
I emptied it. I got to fill it. I got to fix it.
What am I going to do?
And what a generic name for mouthwash is called Plaque Attack.
Plaque Attack. Oh, man, that'd be great.
I would totally buy a Plaque Attack.
I would play Plaque Attack. Yeah. But, like, Walter Matthau plays the comedy role of it, too. Like, you wouldn't think he's, like, a slapstick old man. But, like, he doesn't. I know he doesn't do the full split. What I'm assuming is that there's a hole in the floor. And there's two fake legs sticking out in front and behind him. But the way he plays it off and, like, his commitment to, like, the pain of, like, it's absolutely hysterical.
And I saw an interview with Walter Matthau where they were asking him about working with kids, and he was talking about how much he loves it. And he says there's no preconceptions. They don't come in with any ideas of how the character is going to be. They just come in and do it. Like,
they just be themselves.
They just come in and make. And Dennis actually, the kid who did it, auditioned. He was one of 20,000 auditions. What? And the reason that he got the role is when that kid came in to read for the part, he pulled a worm out of his pocket. And the casting director was like, "Oh, this is Dennis. This is
Mr.
Dennis."
Wilson, buy some grasshoppers.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Oh my god. Yeah, Basin Gamble. I don't think he's done much since then.
I don't think
has
so.
He? I'll look him up. But like, yeah,
I mean, he was kind of the wettest noodle of all when you really look at this movie. I mean, the delivery of his lines and stuff. Yeah, like it's not terrible, but if you were forced to pick a wet noodle, he is the wettest noodle of all. Just because the other two kids are better than he is.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the what's the kid's name with the apple?
Oh, Gunther.
All he's doing is giving you a look, and he is killing it.
Apple.
Yes, yeah, like he says like 3 lines of the whole movie, and you're like, "This is my favorite character."
Yeah, just that simple. Yep. Which honestly, he looked like it. I was like, bro, that looks like one of your brothers. I would tell you right there, like the bowl cut and everything. I was like, I've seen some photos. I was like,
and Trey was a little kid, but without the like dumbfounded cross-eyed stare.
Look, yeah, no.
I don't remember Trey ever looking around like.
We fixed that. We got that fixed. Actually,
you guys played hide and seek. Yep.
Trey found 3 cats.
Yeah, it's 3 too many cats.
It's 3 too many. Your mom walking around. Why is he saying that? Why is he talking about
Don't
that?
worry about
Just
it.
3 too many. 3 too many. Yep. No, but his other 2 friends, or Dennis's best friend was is it Henry?
Yeah.
The little kid with the flap.
He kills it.
Hap.
Flap.
Hysterical kid.
Yeah.
And then of course Martha, which was absolutely
Margaret.
Do tree houses have carpets?
Martha is Martha Wilson. Margaret
Margaret
is the little
Margaret.
girl.
Yes, Margaret is the little girl.
Do tree houses have carpets? No, tree houses don't have carpets.
Yeah. And then when they get it all together, and she says, "Now we can order the major appliances."
Yeah,
I love how the first thing he steals in that town is that girl's doll.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a real McAsshole. Dude, when the cop stops him, and he's like, "What are you doing here, bud?" He's like, "Just passing through." He's like, "Well, you need to move along. We keep a nice, safe town here." And he's like, "The only reason I'm still here is because you stopped me to shoot the breeze."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're scaring me, and I'm a cop. Get out of here, dude.
his whatever prosthetic teeth they put in Christopher Lloyd's mouth were horrible.
Yeah.
It was just
Like-
corn.
And it was
Yeah,
interesting
it's
how
terrible.
how Dennis managed to knock the 2 teeth out of the dentures. I'm like, how did he
that's
do
one
that?
of
Just
the
like
best.
clacking them together and just like
Yeah.
but those are some weak ass dentures.
And then he
That's
goes
one of
into
the best
And he
scenes.
goes
Yeah.
into his safe to find
His secret
chiclet.
I do love the speaking of safes when Mr. Wilson is looking at his coins and he's asking him all the questions and he's like, so you have a combination? He's like, yeah. How do you not forget it? And he's like, it's numbers that I use all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you not forget? I use the numbers all the time. I told you. I bet I can guess it. No, you can't. It's your address. And Mr. Wilson's face is like, how did you guess that?
It's raining and it's raining
Gets
outside.
real
And the lightning
still.
hits.
Yeah. He gets real still there, and he's like, "I'm gonna change this password."
It's the that's kind of passcode an idiot would have on his luggage.
But so like,
God, it's amazing. I have the same combination. I like it.
but just like the big climax of the film is that Mr. Wilson misses his 40-year plan.
It sucks.
Which I just got to imagine. So like he's definitely in his 70s, I would say. So he started growing that thing in his 30s.
Yeah.
And so he's been waiting 40 years for this to bloom. And I had to sit there and imagine when I watched this, I was like, if I was waiting 40 years, I don't care what. Like there could be gunfire.
And not only that, but they started to see it open before they look, so they know it's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever is happening can wait 3 seconds for me to see this.
Nothing would have taken my eyes. I don't care what kid came yelling, "House is on fire!" Okay, 5 more seconds.
Yeah.
Just hold on. It's not going to burn in 5 seconds. We got 5 seconds. Is fine.
It's not going to change the outcome.
Yeah, no. The house is going to smell like smoke for three days. This is fine. I'm going to watch for 5 more seconds because that plant like bloop, and then just dies instantly. And he's like 40 years down the drain, and just
He took something from me that I could never get back.
yeah, because I mean, he's not like he's going to plant another one.
I mean, he could, but he ain't gonna see
He
it.
ain't gonna see it. It's like that could be like Dennis's wedding present or something. Like, here, I gave it to you before I died. Remember, because you made me miss the last one.
Dennis, you're next.
That's it. He just sets up this elaborate scheme where he videotapes himself, and then he like opened this up on your wedding day. He's like, I planted this for you like 20 years ago, Dennis. Here you go. And then he like sets up people to distract him in another 20 years when it blooms.
Right when it goes to bloom, somebody just punches him in the face.
And then that person
Not even knocks him out, just knocks his head around so he can't see it happen.
bloom, and then that person hands him another VHS tape, and it's the second part. He's like,
Gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha, bitch.
It's Walter Matthau. Gotcha.
Doing the Dave Chappelle gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh my God.
I would love it. Oh man, is there anything else you guys want to say about this one? Because I mean,
If you really want a good laugh, check out the Game Grumps playthrough of the Dennis the Menace like SNES game for this.
Oh, dude,
I think that should be your.
Have you ever
playthrough.
seen Minty? He's like an Australian dude that does like 10 things you didn't know about. I watch him a lot. I really like. He gets a lot of in-depth information.
Nice.
And I take a lot of stuff from his show that I like. I don't see anywhere else. But he's like an Australian dude, and he just does like top 10 things you didn't know.
About? No.
And he talks about the game, and he talks about how the bad guys have like funhouse heads.
Yeah, they're gigantic.
And then he says like the Switchblade Sam looks like Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2 in like a Freddy sweater.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
so
yeah.
It does. It's so bizarre
Mr.
looking.
Wilson is like 8 feet tall.
Oh, he is.
He's gigantic.
And bulletproof.
And if he catches you, he like grabs you where like Dennis like by the shirt, so he's like hanging like this. He like walks you out of the house. So the Game Grumps do a playthrough of that, and they do like a makeshift rap as Mr. Wilson. I'm not gonna spoil it. Just type in like Game Grumps.
Watch it.
Just type in like Game Grumps, Dennis the Menace, and that part will come up. Because the whole part, the whole thing during the game is Aaron, the main guy. Yeah. Whenever he's like, yeah, that's like just Mr. Wilson was that guy that's like, get out of here, get out of here.
Back.
I think this should be your playthrough. I think you should do you should do one, man. Get it? Come on.
It's painful.
We just keep making you play these trash ass games.
I got to play Donkey Kong last, so at least I got to play one game.
Because we could do it. You could do your stream on Thursday, and this could come out Friday. It's part of it.
Or I can stream it Sunday after this comes out on Friday.
Yeah, whatever feels good to you, because it's a terrible game, I'm sure.
So bad. So bad.
Oh, man. Well, any other final thoughts or anything else you guys wanted to share? Any interesting facts or anything want to put on out there?
I think I got them out. There wasn't a whole lot. I know that the movie made money. It was a box office success.
Made money.
It wasn't a flop. I think out of all those movies that came out around this time, it was probably the one that it was the most like child friendly with the best heart to it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the movies that came out in the same year, but it was a bunch of movies that came out with it that were children's movies, but this probably was the best of them. I'm bummed that I'm not remembering the movies. No, I don't think so. I think that was later because I don't think Jonathan Taylor Thomas was quite there yet. But anyway, yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good watch. I'm looking forward to next week when we look at the antithesis.
Oh my god!
Of the other side of the coin.
The sheer devil.
Well, let's get there.
We'll get there. So
thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching another episode of Nostalgia Land. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Tell people about us. Check out Trey's Back to the Playroom streaming. It's up there on YouTube as well. Thanks to everybody who tunes in, who listens every week, who gives us feedback, who comments, who texts, who calls. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And check out the stores, the Shopifys. Check out all our T-shirts and sweaters and stuff. Got some good ones out there now. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And till next time, anybody have anything?
Nope. As always, I'm Matt.
Trey.
Tyler. Cowabunga.